Mayor, you've been on many C-suite teams for many years, and you often speak with C-suite leaders. Can you tell me what's on their mind when it comes to improving their organizations with AI?
Regardless of AI, I think, on an organic level, uh, most of the C-suite is focused on, two or three key objectives. And a lot of them are going to sound very cliche, but that is just the reality of it, right? Number one is competitive advantage. How can they continue to be competitively differentiated, have that advantage with their customers, either in B2C or B2 space, it doesn't matter. How can they continue to grow their market share um, and sustain that growth? Uh, Second is always how do they create more opportunities for creating value in the enterprise, right? Either because they are privately held and valuation matters from an exit standpoint, or because they're publicly held, and of course, valuation is more upfront in that case as well. And so that's when it comes to C-suite, they are very much driven on, how do I make sure that my overall valuation, my return to investors, my stakeholders, all of that is growing, and a lot of that organically comes through either growing your market share, growing your revenue, or growing your profit. Now, when it comes to AI absolutely has relevance to all of this. The way I like to think about it, and the primary reason why I myself, joined Rapid Canvas, after a stint in marketing technology, is because I did not want to continue to stay in that area of comfort where I knew marketing technology, and grow and just continue growing in that. I purposely wanted to get myself out of that comfort zone and be in the forefront of helping other leaders to embrace AI and grow with it. And what the reason I did that is because in my mind that AI train has already left the stage, right? And the speed at which it is evolving, think of ChatGPT membership growth. It has been explosive and faster than any other disruption we have seen in the past. May it be Netflix's growth or Facebook's growth, uh, whichever you can compare, it has been a lot more. So I think it's if that has already occurred, how do you then can think of AI and use it in all your aspects, which then help you to A, grow your competitive advantage, B, grow your valuation through growing your revenue and profit. And AI can play a role in that. AI can play a role in innovation. Um, you know, and you can be anybody, right? Let's say you are a company that makes electronic sensors, right? Now you can take advantage of machine learning AI and use the data that your sensors is getting to provide incremental value to your end customers, way more than what you have been able to do now. If you are in a food company, then you can use AI to have faster quality control or better management of your manufacturing process that potentially might allow you to keep product on your shelf longer and things like that, right? So it doesn't matter which business you are in, AI is going to help you to innovate. Uh, AI absolutely helps you, and innovation is a big factor in competitive advantage, right? AI absolutely helps you to cut corners, right? A lot of AI that is being spoken about in industry is all about how AI can automate things, how AI can create efficiencies, and so on. And of course, that's there. It allows people to be more effective. But I would like to double dive on that a little bit more, a deep dive on that, because automation sometimes also gets a bad word, right? Because it feels like, oh, I want to automate so that I can cut costs, right? Um, Another way to think about AI and automation is how do you get effectiveness, right, in
Mhm.
in people's productive life, especially in C-suite. I myself, as a leader, so many times in the past, or all the folks in my network I speak with, you yourself, Michelle, in your career, must have gone through this many times, where you have an obvious question in your mind, and that question is so obvious, but when you ask it, it feels like the to get an answer to such an obvious question is an arduous, long journey. And AI can accelerate that, right? So when I think about automation, I also think about getting to answers quickly, getting to that piece of information and knowledge very quickly. Because when you get that knowledge and information at an accelerated speed, you're going to be able to make smarter decisions faster, which then helps you to grow faster, grow profit faster, grow revenue faster. Uh, and then why does AI make all of this possible? In so many ways, right? Again, I don't want to list an entire range of possibilities, but getting to data requires actually getting to data, right? A lot of our clients and all of us are sitting on uh, a lot of data that we are not even aware of. That basically has been used by all of the LLMs, including ChatGPT, or it be Claude, or whoever, right? The way LLMs have been built is by tapping into all possible information that is there, right? So in a way, we as organizations are already sitting on a lot of information that sits in our Slack chats, in our emails, in our dashboards, so many of them, in all the data that has not yet been converted to a dashboard, and so on. Being able to get to data also is now AI can make it faster by writing code faster, by building custom pipelines faster, and so on. Once you get the data, then to get information, you have to train data, right? You have to create that context on what question matters, what type of answer is the right answer, what is that context, and all of that. And AI makes all of that very easy too, right? I myself, as a student of AI, every day I'm surprised how much ChatGPT can do for you, or Claude can do for you, right? All of this LLMs, like the more I push, the more context I give, the more precise I am about the background, or the motivation for that question, the better answer I get out of it. So AI can be used in your businesses through that, right? So once you have gotten data, then training data to get an answer, AI of course can play an incredible role in that. And then the last point is, then once you have done all the training of the data, then actually empowering the organization to ask questions and getting those answers. That can be because you chart, or that can be because you simply ask the question and get an answer, right? The traditional non-AI way was, to get an answer, you first have to figure out what data you need. Then you have to figure out, get that data. Do we have it? Then you have to figure out to build a pipeline and all of that. And then you figure out all the dashboards that you have to get. Because the only way to get an answer was to first create a chart or a table. And then read that chart, and then understand that chart and table, and then actually get the insight. Now with AI, you can skip so many things and simply ask the question and get that insight directly, right? Like, for example, why have been my sales of my shampoo for last 5 months have been declining in the drug channel? I'm already sitting on that data. That simple question for an e-commerce manager, let's say at a shampoo business, or a trade person at a shampoo, anybody who is in charge of looking at that, or even the C-level people, if the business is big enough, all the way it will go up. What is going on in the CVS channel for my shampoo? And the questions typically would be, is it because my distribution is hurting? Is it because my SKU position on the shelf has moved a lot? Or is it because my promotions are bad? And a typical question like that would require writing a lot of modules, and having a sizable team. And you feel that you have done all of that, and now every time I ask, I should get a right answer. You don't. So you have to remodel and retrain and all of those things. All of that process, AI can make it extremely compact, extremely bespoke, extremely powerful, and extremely fast. So yeah, it's a long answer for your question, but hopefully, I was able to share some insights in there.
Yeah, so one of the things I think that you said really was, it's all about speed to intelligence, right? Because the difference between information or data versus intelligence is orders of magnitude different, right? Because
Yep.
lots of times when you were looking at the charts and the dashboards, it was about data, but it didn't really give you a conclusion. And so what you were
Yep.
talking about was, oh, now I have the why, right? It answers the
Yep.
why behind it, right? And that's really very interesting, talking about like that speed to intelligence. So when you talk a lot about speed in both defining and implementing your AI strategies for organizations. So can you really talk about why the speed matters? Why is it so important to an organization?
I'm going to give you a couple of reasons. One of those is going to be a little bit more philosophical than the other. Um, the first reason is nobody has a choice in the sense AI itself is moving so fast that if we just consider if we just write the problem statement as I want to embrace AI, that's not enough. The problem statement needs to be I want to embrace AI and I want to accelerate my AI transformation. I need to go from zero to AI being in the veins of every single employee in my company. And I don't think we have a choice because folks who are going to be slower to respond to this are just going to be behind all the time because that's how fast AI is moving. Correct.
Yep.
So it's just kind of like it's almost enforced upon us. Let's put it that way, right?
So there's all
Uh,
these outside forces putting pressure because AI is moving faster, that organizations
yes,
will are
correct.
compelled to move fast with
Yes,
AI. Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Because nobody in the AI industry itself is pausing and taking it slow. Correct.
Yep.
Just look at the speed in which OpenAI itself has progressed in its models, and every new model is a significant progression in its ability from the previous one, right? So that's just there. Second example is Apple, the most revered brand, and it is now getting like uh, beaten in the market, right? For being slow, correct? But if you use iPhone, nothing about your iPhone feels technologically backward, correct?
Correct.
But there are things that are so obvious that you still cannot do with C from an AI perspective, right? And people don't care about it right now because people are not yet gotten used to it from a phone perspective. But in other aspects of their life, very quickly they are, right? Search is slowly moving, not slowly, I would say, in a very fast way, moving away from going to google.com to just simply asking ChatGPT the questions, right? So as people's behavior without realizing is changing, everybody has to catch up really fast. Okay, so that's one point. Second point is a little bit philosophical in my mind, which is any technological uh, disruption that we have had in humankind over thousands of years uh, has always had speed as a motivation behind it. When we went from walking to riding was speed of motivation. Uh, Riding horses to, getting into a car, speed was the motivation. From cars to planes, speed was the motivation, right? Same from all the journey of computers, right? All of that, speed is the motivation. How fast I can process information, how fast I can process data, how fast I can send an email, all of that. If every technological leap has come with speed being an integral component to it. And so for me, I just don't see how we cannot be fast about embracing AI because it's in my mind, it's integral. You see, like And it, people just do it without knowing. Like TikTok went from 0 to million very quickly. Nobody talks about the speed in that context because you are not consciously thinking about it. But just the amount of time people are now spending on TikTok, for example, the ones who are on TikTok, that has been, 0 to 1 hour a day very quickly, right? So I know it sounds a little bit esoteric or philosophical, but for me, like you have to be consciously thinking about speed.
So do you see that speed is more important with the AI transformation than it has been with other technology transformations like digital transformation, et cetera? Do you see it as being more important than those transformations?
Absolutely. Again, it's a very subjective opinion, but I don't think there has been a scientific disruption that came so close to thinking like human beings. You know, a lot of disruptions have been to help us do more things, do them faster, do things that we have not been able to do. Uh, but being able to actually think like us and act like us is is amazing. And that is one reason why it is very different, right? Because people's ability to think faster, think better, is going to be inherently and disproportionately impacting their productivity and their contribution as professionals, uh, based on how effectively they have embraced AI versus not.
Yeah. So you're talking about like
If
the other technologies and transformations have really been about efficiency, right? And what's really happening now, the efficiency is that was a major objective, and now efficiency is a byproduct, and the major objective is really like intelligence augmentation, right? So it
yes,
is really being like a companion or assistant
yep,
or a colleague. People use different
yes,
words, but it's more
yep.
that's what's closer. That's a very interesting insight. I like that. Very interesting. So can you tell me what advice do you give CEOs and COOs and that are looking to start with AI? Where do you tell them how to get started?
Number one, I say, is get started yourself. Every time you have a question, you know, choose the thing that you like. If you like Claude, go for Claude. If you like, you know, uh, ChatGPT, go for ChatGPT, right? But embrace it. Um, you know, make your thinking and your ability to gain knowledge and perspective even faster by relying on AI. That's number one. I'll give you like 4 or 5, tips if that's okay. Second is empower and enable folks in your organization to do the same. If somebody comes and tells me, Mayur, I'm going to need 3 days to write this piece, thought leadership piece on our product or our competitive differentiation and all of that. My question is like, why do you need 3 days? Do it in 3 hours. It won't be perfect, but I need a first draft honestly, in like 25 minutes. Can you do that? And uh, they might ask, like, how? Well, just go and ask ChatGPT, just do it. So this concept that somehow there people who are super creative on their own and stop themselves from relying on AI to get an answer somehow are purer or need to get more brownie points than the others. I think I don't fundamentally believe in that. I actually, as a leader at Rapid Canvas, both Rahul, me, and all of us, we all like empower our folks to like get an answer using AI first, right? Um, and and then work on it. Correct. Of course, your own expertise, your own experience, your own context, your own wisdom matters a lot, and it is going to take something that AI provides even better. But the power of that speed uh, that AI will bring, that actually allows your mind to now focus more on what, give more mind space to critic, to making it better. That combination of quick AI draft or AI answer plus a human expert context equals to whatever you get is many times better than I'm going to do all the research on my own. I'm going to figure it all out my own. And then I'm going to prepare an answer on my own. That not only is longer, inherently, I think you're going to get a weaker answer because you will not be able to stand in the library of information and soak all of it in, no matter how many days you spend. But an AI agent will do that for you in seconds, right? So by not relying on AI, you're actually leaving knowledge, intelligence on table, and you are not being complete. So make yourself complete, right? So that's my second advice that give people permission, right? Like if somebody comes and tells me, Mayur, I didn't do anything. I just drafted this using GPT. I don't ding them. I'm like, smart move. That's great. You did that. Right. So
Yeah,
it's
so you're
okay.
you're taking collective intelligence to another level. It's not just with humans because like
Yep.
collective intelligence always works better than an individual contributor like you're describing. And now this is taking it and powering, supercharging it with the power of an AI that has access to different data potentially and can evaluate different scenarios that perhaps you as a human, for whatever reasons, your biases,
Yep.
et cetera, have excluded. And it evaluates those and it does it very quickly. And that helps you think better and faster and think more broadly as well. So
Yep.
that's a very interesting aspect of what you're describing. Okay, so continue on. What are
Yep.
some of the other
And
advice?
and then just last three pieces. So I said five. So that's one and two. And you yourself start. Second, empower and enable others to start somewhere. Third, just start using AI as a word a lot more often. You know, you as leaders, the what words and what you say empowers people to do more. So just can we do this using AI? Can AI? Have you done this? Like, just make it more integral to your functioning by even through the choice of your words and your questions that you ask as leaders. Because that's going to help you to create a culture that starts thinking like that as well. For example, if you see somebody taking a lot of notes, you just ask, why are you taking notes? It's okay to take notes. But why don't you just also transcribe this call using AI? Yeah, I can take notes for you. Correct. So that way, you don't have to worry. So just use the pockets wherever you can, right? And then keep empowering people, asking that question. The last two are actually really very important because when the first two in my mind are very leadership, culture driven tenets of how you can drive AI. The last two are more practical and where rubber meets the road. Um, Prioritization of what problems to solve with AI is very critical. Okay. The mistake people sometimes make is garbage in, garbage out, which is they would go after solving problems using AI, for which where inherently the quality of data that they already have is not good enough. And hence uh, what you get out of it is not going to be good either. Okay. So make sure you choose your business problem very, very appropriately. And to look at that, you need like few dimensions to think about. Do you have the right starting data point? Is this business question solving for this going to provide a significant ROI? Either because it allows you to grow your market share, how? Or because it allows you to create more resource efficiency, how? Is it going to get you more revenue, how? Make sure that you have a quantification path of measuring ROI for your AI projects. Otherwise, it can become very quickly fun stuff that people do, but that does not necessarily result in actual value, right? So it is important to think about which projects you prioritize for AI and why. That depends on your data readiness. That depends on how you calculate the ROI. That depends on making sure you stack rank all these projects based on time to launch, correct? Lower hanging fruits versus more long term, and create a roadmap around that. And also make sure that when you're thinking about which projects to go after first, uh, you know, understand what it takes to build a good enterprise level AI solution. Because once you build it, the folks who rely on it need to rely on it. It needs to make sure that is actually providing the value that your business case created. The insights that you get, the intelligence that you get, the automation that you get, whatever it is, the end output is accurate, is reliable, is consistent, is scalable, all of that. And that, on one hand, when it feels like you're saving money, on the other hand, your costs are going up somewhere else, from technology perspective. And it's not a great trade-off either. So just thinking about all of that is important, which takes me to the last point, which is then how to build good AI solutions. Building good AI solutions requires you to understand that it's an orchestration of many different technology stacks, right? um, the the cloud strategy, the on where your entire infrastructure very likely sits on, your data strategy, your the LLMs and the AI language that you use, the overall data coding and data science skills and knowledge and acceleration that you need. Uh, how are you going to the technology stack that you may need from output standpoint? If it's series of intelligence, then how is that intelligence going to show up? If the output is simply next step to a workflow, then how are you going to build that pipeline? Like, you have to think about all of these things. And what my biggest frustration right now when I go on LinkedIn is you have this series of influencers, AI experts who make everything sound so easy. Hey, I have built an agent to do this. Yeah, and message me or comment, and I will send you how to do it. And I don't foresee a future where an organization has a million agents, all built using, mom pop SaaS shops, right? $2 per person thing. Okay, let me download this AI agent that helps me to do this, then this AI agent. That's not how to build enterprise grade AI solutions. You need to think about the entire orchestration. And what I feel extremely proud about, at Rapid Canvas is those are the hard problems that we have decided to solve for, to build a platform that ultimately empowers and enables organizations to have that entire orchestration already taken care of, to be able to build enterprise grade AI solutions from start to end that takes care of data analysis, that takes care of the pipeline, that takes care of all the data science coding, that takes care of the orchestration and the outputs that need to be shown either as BI dashboards or automated emails or alerts or whatever the next step needs to be. Make sense? And being able to do that with speed, optimization, cost optimization from a tech tax standpoint, and all of that, taking into account all of that, but also privacy, security, things that matter. So long story short, I think uh, AI is inherent, integral. Uh, Two, it is absolutely fun. I love it. But three, taking it seriously requires um, some serious thinking, thought process on what, why, and how.
Yeah, thank you for that advice. Those are great tips for folks who are looking to accelerate their time to value with AI. And thank you for your time and all your insights today, Mayor.
Thank you.